You might think your dog places their paw on you because they love you. But what if I told you? It's not always affection. If you've lived with dogs for decades, you've probably seen this moment. You're sitting quietly, and suddenly, a paw gently rests on your leg. Sweet, right, maybe. But in some cases, this small gesture could be a silent cry for help, or a warning sign you've missed for years. In this video, we're going to decode 12 everyday dog behaviors most people misread even after a lifetime of being a dog parent. And once you understand them, you'll never see your dog the same way again. So let's begin not with the paw, but with one of the most misunderstood dog behaviors of all. 1. Destroying things when you're gone. It's not revenge. It's panic. You step out to run a quick errand, maybe 15 minutes tops. But when you return, chaos. Cushions, shredded shoes, chewed blinds, twisted like ribbon in the wind. At first it feels personal, like your dog's getting back at you. You want to ask, why are you doing this to me? But here's the truth, they're not mad. They're terrified. For many older dogs especially, those raised as close companions, your absence doesn't just leave a gap in the room, it tears a hole in their world. Think of it like pulling the roof off their house, even if just for 10 minutes. When you're gone, they don't know how long. An hour a day forever. And that uncertainty hits them like a storm. What you see as destruction is their version of a panic attack. Research from the Journal of Applied Animal Behavior found that dogs with strong attachment to one person are far more likely to exhibit stress-destructive behaviors, especially when they sense routines changing. That means, if you're retired now but suddenly running errands again, they feel that shift. And they don't know what it means. It's not misbehavior, it's heartbreak. So what can you do? Start small. Practice mini absences. Leave for 5 minutes, then come back without fanfare. Make departure boring, not dramatic. And make returns calm, not explosive. Slowly, their nervous system learns, you always come back. You're not disappearing. Now here's the twist. If your dog destroys things, don't just correct, listen. Behind every torn cushion might be a heartbeat saying, I didn't know how else to reach you. And if that's how they speak through fear, what about the behaviors they use to say they love you? One of them might shock you next. It's something we've all seen and misunderstood completely. Ready? 2. Mounting isn't what you think. Sometimes it's a cry for belonging. Let's talk about a behavior that makes most dog owners uncomfortable. Mounting, humping. Whatever word you use, the reaction is usually the same: embarrassment, a quick stop, and sometimes the worried glance to see if anyone else saw it. But what if I told you this moment, awkward as it looks, isn't always about dominance or hormones or bad behavior? What if it's something deeper, more emotional? Imagine a child in kindergarten clinging too tight to another kid on the playground. Not because they're aggressive, but because they don't know how to play yet. Mounting, especially in neutered dogs, can be just like that. It's not a power move. It's social clumsiness. It's, I want to be part of this, I just don't know how. Some dogs mount during play because they're overwhelmed by energy and don't know how to express it. Others do it when meeting new dogs, or even people as a way to test the social waters. It's less about control and more about connection. Here's the key: instead of scolding, redirect. Give them an outlet, a chew toy, a sit command. Praise calm behavior. Teach them that there are safer, clearer ways to join the group. If you've ever felt embarrassed by your dog doing this in public, you're not alone. But maybe, just maybe, that moment you wanted to hide was your dog's awkward way of asking to belong. And if this kind of insight is helping you see your dog with new eyes, take a moment and subscribe. I'm here every week, breaking down the behaviors most people misread, especially the subtle emotional ones older dogs show us every day. And speaking of subtle signs, what if your dog wasn't just tilting their head for fun? The next behavior might look adorable, but could be a sign of something surprisingly smart. 3. The head tilt cute gesture, or canine IQ test. It's one of the most heart-melting things a dog can do. You speak, and they tilt their head just slightly like they're trying to understand every syllable. It's adorable. It's meme-worthy. But here's the question. What's really going on in that furry little head? Are they confused? Curious? Or is it something even more fascinating? Think of the head tilt as your dog's way of fine-tuning their internal radio. Just like you might move an old antenna to get a clearer signal, your dog tilts their head to better locate the sound. It's not random. It's strategy. And here's where it gets more interesting. Studies suggest that dogs who tilt more often may actually be better at recognizing human words, especially emotionally charged ones. That means when you say, "Want to go for a walk," and they tilt their head, they're not just reacting. They might be processing, deciding, evaluating if you're serious or just teasing. And sometimes it's not about hearing at all. For long-muzzled breeds, tilting their head gives them a better angle to see your eyes, your hands, your face. They're not just listening. They're reading you. So next time your dog does that little sideways look, pause. They're not confused. They're engaged. They're present. Maybe even smarter than you thought. But here's the twist. What if your dog doesn't tilt their head anymore? Could it be hearing loss? Cognitive aging? Or is it simply emotional distance? Stick with me, because the next behavior looks even more innocent, but may reveal exactly how your dog feels when they're at their happiest, or they're most overwhelmed. And sometimes it happens right in the middle of play. 4. Why dogs sneeze. During play, and what happens if they stop. You're watching your dog wrestle with a friend, tails wagging, feet flying, and then it happens. A sudden sharp sneeze. Not once, but maybe 2-3 times in a row. You laugh, maybe say something like, "Bless you." But have you ever wondered, why now? Why in the middle of pure joy? Here's the surprising truth. Those playful sneezes aren't about dust or allergies. They're signals, like little white flags saying, "Hey, this is just for fun, not a fight." In the middle of all that wild energy, your dog is sending a message, "I'm happy, I'm safe, I want you to feel safe too." Sneezing during play is one of the clearest examples of meta-communication in dogs. It's like they're speaking in italics, letting the other dog know, "This isn't aggression, I'm just excited." But here's the insight most owners miss. If your dog stops sneezing during rough play, especially if their body stiffens, tail drops, or movements get sharper, it might mean the mood has shifted. The line between joy and stress is thin, thinner than we think. So next time you see that sneeze, know this. It's not just cute. It's emotional punctuation. A little reset button. Like laughter in a tense conversation, softening the moment, keeping things safe. And that's why observing play sneezes can actually help prevent fights before they start. But what about the signals your dog sends when they're not even moving? Like when they're just lying next to you? And suddenly, let out a deep, slow yawn. Coming up next is one of the most misunderstood behaviors of all. Because that yawn, it might not be about sleep. It might be about you. 5. Yawning isn't just about sleep. It's about trust and stress. You're sitting quietly. Your dog walks over circles once and lies down with a sigh. Then a long, slow yawn. You smile, maybe think someone's getting sleepy. But what if that yawn wasn't about rest at all? What if it was a whisper of something deeper? In the language of dogs, Yawning is like a Swiss Army knife. It does more than one job. Yes, it can mean tiredness, but it can also mean tension, or empathy, or a need to calm things down. Ever noticed your dog yawning after you yawn? That's not a coincidence. A study from Kyoto University showed that dogs yawn more when their owners do a behavior linked to emotional bonding, even mild empathy. It's their way of mirroring you like a soft echo. But yawning also shows up when dogs are stressed, in crowded rooms, at the vet, when they sense conflict in your voice. It's not, "I'm bored," it's, "I need this moment to settle down." And here's something most people miss. Some dogs yawn before big transitions, before walks, before meals, before being left alone. It's their nervous system revving up, trying to shift gears. So next time your dog yawns, don't rush to interpret it as sleepiness. Instead, ask what's changing around them right now. What are they responding to in you? Because in that small, quiet moment, that open mouth and deep exhale, they might be saying more than you think. And if yawns can reveal hidden stress, what about spinning? You know that odd little ritual they do before lying down, the circling, the scratching like they're prepping a nest. That's next, and it goes back much further than your living room rug. 6. Spinning before bed ritual from the wild. You never noticed. You fluff your pillow. Your dog spins in a circle. You pull the blanket. They spin again. Maybe scratch a little at the cushion, then finally curl into a perfect donut shape. It's bedtime, but for them, it's also something older. Much older. What looks like a random dance before sleep is actually a deeply rooted instinct. Back when dogs weren't lying on orthopedic beds or folded quilts, they were out in the open, tall grass, uneven ground, hidden threats. Spinning was their way of checking the terrain, flattening it, smoothing a place safe enough to rest. Even now in your peaceful living room, that behavior hasn't left. It's ancient muscle memory, a ritual of comfort. And when they scratch the bed before lying down, they're not being picky. They're marking, releasing scent from glands in their paws, leaving a message only they can read. This spot is mine. This is safe. Here's where it gets interesting. If your dog is spinning excessively or struggles to settle, it might not be instinct, it could be pain, joint stiffness, anxiety, even cognitive confusion in older dogs. Their little bedtime dance might be them saying, "I want to feel safe, but I don't." So next time your dog turns a slow circle before sleep, picture it as them building a nest, not just for their body, but for their mind. And as we talk about spinning, let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed your dog doing the exact same thing before they go to the bathroom? That odd little pre-poop ritual? Believe it or not, that spin may be even stranger, and it's linked to the Earth's magnetic field. Ready for that? Let's go. 7. Why dogs spin before pooping, and what Earth's magnetic field has to do with it. You grab the leash, head out for the usual walk, and your dog starts their routine. A few sniffs, a pause, then the spin. 1 turn, 2 turns, sometimes 5. Around and around, like they're trying to find the center of gravity. You wait, maybe a little impatient. But what if I told you that spin isn't random? What if it's connected to something far greater than your backyard? Dogs don't just spin to flatten grass or look for twigs. Yes, part of it is comfort. But part of it, according to scientists, is alignment. In a 2013 study published in Frontiers in Zoology, researchers found that dogs prefer to poop, aligned with the Earth's magnetic field, specifically along the north-south axis. And when the magnetic field is unstable, they spin more, they delay, they hesitate. It's as if they're trying to find balance, not just physically, but neurologically. You see, dogs have magnetoreception. That means they can sense magnetic fields the way birds migrate or sea turtles navigate. And when they do their little spin, they may be trying to sync their internal compass with the planet. But here's the emotional insight. Dogs are creatures of pattern. Predictability soothes them. So if your dog starts spinning excessively or can't seem to settle, it may mean something's off. Inside or outside. Now imagine this, if even pooping has meaning. What about something we find gross, even repulsive? Like when your dog sniffs and then licks another dog's pee. What on earth are they learning from that? Stick with me, because next up is one of the strangest and most misunderstood behaviors of all. 8. The pee lick, gross to us. Essential to them. You're walking your dog, the sun is warm, the leash is loose. Everything's calm until your dog suddenly slams on the brakes, dives nose first into a patch of grass, and then, to your horror, licks it. And you know exactly what was there. Another dog's pee. You cringe, maybe yank the leash, maybe even mutter, "No gross." But to your dog, that wasn't disgusting. It was data. Dogs live in a world of scent, thick-layered, invisible to us, but vivid to them. And one of their most powerful tools for decoding that world lies not just in their nose, but in something deeper, the vomeronasal organ, also called Jacobson's organ. It sits between the roof of the mouth and the nasal cavity, and it does something extraordinary. It reads chemical messages. When a dog licks another dog's pee, then lifts their head slightly, maybe even keeps their mouth open a second longer, that's not just sniffing. That's decoding. Gender, reproductive state, health status, stress level. It's a personal profile, a scent-based biography. And here's what's wild: dogs do this most often when they're trying to learn. New park, new dogs, new environment. It's not just curiosity, it's orientation. They're asking, who's been here? Who belongs here? Am I safe? So next time your dog gives a little lick, don't panic. They're not being gross. They're being social. They're reading the room the way we scroll a Facebook profile. But what happens when that need to communicate turns inward? When your dog doesn't sniff others, but turns to you and gently puts their paw on your arm? Coming up is the most emotional signal of all, one you might have overlooked for years. Let's talk about the paw. 9. When your dog puts their paw on you, is it love or a hidden need you're reading? Watching TV, maybe just lost in thought, and then a gentle tap. That familiar paw resting on your leg, your arm, your chest. No bark, no pull, just contact, a touch. And in that moment, it's easy to smile and think, "Oh, they love me." And often, yes, that's true, but not always. Sometimes it means something more. Dogs use their paws the way we use fingertips, as a way to connect, yes, but also to say, "Hey, I need something." That something could be attention, reassurance, food, a bathroom break, or, in many cases, comfort. Dogs who are nervous during storms or unsettled by changes in your mood will often reach out this way. Like a child grabbing your sleeve without saying a word. It's their softest language. One that doesn't demand, it asks. And here's the part that stings: too many of us miss it. Or worse, brush it away. The next time your dog puts their paw on, you pause. Don't just pet, listen. What's happening in that moment? Are they calm? Anxious? Is your tone tense? Is there thunder in the distance? Sometimes that paw is love. Sometimes it's a question. Are we okay? And sometimes it's a plea. Stay a little longer. And if that touched you, you'll want to stick around. Because next, we're diving into something even deeper: when your dog doesn't reach for you, but stares through you. That gaze, it could be pure love, or a warning you can't afford to miss. 10. Why your dog stares at you. And when that gaze means trouble. You're sitting at the kitchen table. You feel it before you see it, that pair of eyes watching you. Steady, unblinking. Sometimes soft, sometimes intense. Sometimes it makes you laugh, other times. You wonder, what are they thinking? What do they want? When a dog stares at you, they're not just waiting for food or playtime. Though yes, that's part of it. They're reading you, studying every micro-movement of your face, the way your chest rises when you breathe, the way your hand shifts when you're nervous. To them, you are a language in motion. And here's what few people realize, that gaze can be filled with love, a hormonal loop of oxytocin, the same chemical we share when holding a baby. But it can also carry unease. If your dog is guarding a toy, or their body stiffens while they lock eyes, that's not affection. That's warning. A quiet one. It's all about the body around the eyes. Soft ears, relaxed tail. You're fine, but tense body-tight mouth stillness. That's when you need to back off, not lean in. Your dog can't speak, but that stare. It's their full sentence. Sometimes it says, I adore you. Sometimes it says, please understand me. And sometimes, not now. Please give me space. But what happens when that energy turns restless? Not with you, but with the walls. If your dog starts chewing corners, digging at drywall, it's not mischief. It's a signal. And in the next moment, we'll look at one of the most overlooked cries for help in the canine world. 11. Wall chewing, a silent scream from a lonely dog. You come home, and there it is, the corner of the wall, chipped flakes of paint, scattered like snow on the floor. You stare at it, maybe even sigh. Why would you do this? You ask your dog. But they don't answer. They just look at you. Maybe wag once. Maybe look away. Here's what most people miss. Dogs don't destroy walls because they're bored. Not at first. They do it because something inside them is too loud to sit with. Chewing the wall, especially at the same spot, is often a symptom of anxiety that has nowhere else to go. It's not a behavior. It's a breakdown. Dogs left alone too long, or going through emotional shifts, like a move, a loss in the family, or even their owner, feeling different, may turn to the wall the way a child clutches a blanket. It's something. It's texture. It responds when nothing else does. And if the damage is near windows or doors, that's not random. That's longing. That's a dog trying to chew their way back to you. So before you patch that wall again, pause. Ask yourself, what has your dog lost recently? A person, a routine, a sense of safety. Because behind every bite into drywall, there may be a heart feeling helpless. And when that emotional pressure builds even further, it doesn't always stay on the wall. Sometimes, it shakes the whole body. Coming up next, what does it mean when your dog starts trembling even when they're dry? Is it excitement or something more serious? Let's uncover that. 12. Dry shaking. When that wiggle isn't about water anymore. Your dog's just come in from the backyard, not wet, not dirty, and yet there it is. A full body shake like they're throwing something off. It lasts a second. You barely notice. But if you've seen it happen more than once, it's worth paying attention. Dry shaking isn't just about fluffing fur. It's about resetting the nervous system. Dogs, like humans, carry stress in their bodies, and unlike us, they don't vent it through words. So they shake. After a stranger enters the house. After a loud noise. After a moment of uncertainty. It's their way of saying, that was a lot. I need to let it go. But here's where it turns serious. If your dog is shaking when nothing obvious has happened, and especially if it's paired with lip-licking, yawning, or pacing, it may be a sign of underlying stress, chronic anxiety, even pain. Some older dogs shake due to joint issues, neurological changes, or simply feeling unsure in their own bodies. It's not drama, it's data. Quiet, trembling data. So next time your dog shakes while completely dry, don't brush it off. Watch what came before it, what triggered it, who walked in, what sound played. Because their body is keeping the score, and that shake might be the only way they can hit pause. So now you know the head tilts, the spins, the shakes, the quiet paw on your leg. None of it is random. None of it is just a dog being a dog. These are stories, signals, love letters written in behavior. Our dogs don't speak with words. They speak with patterns, with pauses, with the tiniest shifts in body and breath. And when we start to listen, really listen, we begin to realize they've been talking to us all along. Maybe your dog has been trying to say, "I trust you," or "I miss you when you're gone," or maybe even, "Please, I need help," but don't know how to ask. Every moment you spend understanding them is a gift, not just to them, but to you. Because few things in life are as powerful as being truly seen. And for your dog, you are the entire world. If this video helped you feel closer to your pup, I hope you'll subscribe. This channel is here for people who love deeper, who want to see more, who believe their dog isn't just a pet, but family. And in the next video, we'll go even further. I'll show you the subtle ways your dog can sense your emotions before you even realize you're feeling them, and how they respond, even in silence. Until then, give them a gentle look tonight. Maybe they'll tilt their head. Maybe they'll reach out a paw. Either way, now you'll know what they're really trying to say.